We have entire documentaries about how women are underpaid. Think pieces about the gender investing gap. Endless content about why women don't negotiate enough, don't invest enough, don't talk about money enough. But men's money habits? Nobody looks at those, because they're just assumed to be normal. Your male colleague who maxes out his 401k every year but won't spend $15 on a haircut. The friend who drives a 12-year-old truck, eats the same $6 lunch every day, and quietly owns 2 rental properties nobody knew about. The guy who won't buy himself new shoes but picks up the tab for the entire table without hesitating. They're not confused. They're not contradictory. They're operating from a completely different psychological blueprint than anyone around them. And once you understand where that blueprint came from, everything clicks. Because men didn't just grow up learning money differently. They grew up watching money mean something different. Something that had nothing to do with comfort and everything to do with identity. That specific connection, money as proof of worth, rewired how they think about every single dollar they earn, spend, save, and owe. That's what we're unpacking today. Picture this. You're 8 years old. Your dad leaves for work before you wake up and comes home after dinner. You don't know what he does exactly. You just know he handles it. The bills get paid. The fridge is full. The family is covered. Nobody talks about money at the table because there's nothing to talk about. It's just handled. That's the first financial lesson most men ever receive. Not a lesson about budgets or interest rates. A lesson about what a man is supposed to do. Provide. Quietly. Without making it a conversation. Now fast forward 20 years. You're in your late 20s. You're supposed to be hitting your stride. But the job market is brutal. Rent is eating 40% of your income. Everyone around you seems to be figuring it out, and you're running calculations in your head every single week just to stay above water. The blueprint said, work hard, earn well, take care of the people around you. But the blueprint didn't account for this economy. And that gap between what you were told being a man meant financially and what the actual numbers look like creates a specific kind of psychological pressure that almost nobody talks about. Because men don't talk about it. And here's what that pressure does over time. It doesn't just stress you out. It reshapes how you relate to every financial decision you make. Because if your self-worth is tied to your ability to provide, then financial struggle doesn't just feel like a practical problem. It feels like a personal failure. Research from the American Psychological Association found men are significantly more likely than women to tie self-worth directly to financial status, and significantly less likely to seek help when that status feels threatened. That's the foundation everything else is built on. So what does that foundation actually produce? Some of the most misunderstood money habits you'll ever observe. Start with how men spend on themselves versus others. It's one of the sharpest contradictions in male financial behavior. A man will hesitate for 2 weeks before buying himself a new jacket. But he'll pay for dinner for 6 people without looking at the bill. He'll drive a car held together by optimism and old tires. But he'll quietly cover his kids' tuition, his parents' emergency, his friends' rent when things get tight. This isn't generosity, it's identity. Spending on others is providing. Spending on yourself is indulgence. And indulgence feels dangerously close to weakness in a framework where your value is measured by what you can do for other people. Then there's how men build financial security. Quietly. Almost invisibly. A man might be sitting on a fully funded emergency account, a growing investment portfolio, and 2 side income streams, and you would never know. No flex, no lifestyle creep. The apartment is modest. The clothes are unremarkable. The car has 140,000 miles on it. This isn't modesty for its own sake. It's protection. Men learn early that showing financial strength invites expectation. Show the money, and people start depending on it. Worse, if things ever fall apart, the drop becomes public. So they keep it invisible. Because the safest financial position is the one nobody can measure from the outside. Here's a contradiction that confuses people. Men are statistically more aggressive investors than women. Federal Reserve data consistently shows men carry higher equity exposure in their portfolios. But they are also more likely to avoid spending on daily comfort. They'll take a calculated risk on a stock they believe in. But they'll reuse a worn-out wallet for 3 more years because replacing it feels unnecessary. The psychology is the same in both cases. Risk for future control is acceptable. Spending on present comfort feels like burning resources you might need later. It's not irrationality. It's a specific cost-benefit framework built around one question. Does this make me more or less secure? That same logic shapes how men relate to debt. A 2022 Experian study found men carry higher total debt than women on average. But men also report significantly more shame and stress around that debt. Because debt isn't just a financial liability. In the male psychological framework, it's evidence that you're not fully in control. Every payment is a reminder that someone else owns a piece of something you're supposed to have handled by now. And yet, despite all of this caution and restraint, men consistently outspend women on specific categories. Tools, technology, vehicles, equipment, anything that signals capability or competence. Not because they're being irrational, because those purchases aren't consumption. They're infrastructure. They're proof to themselves more than anyone else that they're equipped, capable, and ready for whatever comes next. Psychologists call this instrumental spending. The purchase isn't about pleasure. It's about function, control, and identity reinforcement. Which is exactly why a man who won't spend $30 on a nice dinner will spend $400 on a tool he uses twice a year. One feels like waste. The other feels like preparation. And underneath all of it, the invisible wealth, the spending on others before yourself, the obsessive preparation, is the same quiet fear driving every decision. What if I can't handle it? What if I fall short? What if the thing I was supposed to be, the one who takes care of it, turns out to be something I can't sustain? Men don't say this out loud. The Journal of Financial Therapy found men are far less likely than women to discuss financial stress with anyone, including partners and close friends. Not because they don't feel it, because expressing it feels like confirming the failure they're most afraid of. So it stays internal, and it comes out sideways, in obsessive saving, in calculated risk-taking, in covering every tab, in driving the old car for 1 more year, in quietly building something nobody else can see. So here's what men's money psychology really tells us. They're not reckless. They're not simple. They're adapted. Specifically adapted to a framework that told them, from the very beginning, that money wasn't just a resource. It was a reflection of who they are. Every habit that looks strange from the outside makes perfect sense once you understand what shaped it. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Not just about men, but about all of us. Your money habits aren't random. They're responses. Responses to the world that formed you. The roles you were handed before you were old enough to question them. The moments that taught you what it meant to be enough. Men just learned those lessons in silence, and they've been carrying them quietly ever since,